Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Wednesday the 29th of December 2021. Today was a match day and oh boy, can you believe it? I can't believe it. Yesterday I was saying it's all coming together for us to get a hiding. Well, no, it didn't. We won 1-0. How? How did we do this? Um, I'll leave. I'm ecstatic. I'm overjoyed. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. This is an absolutely amazing performance here. To get a result, I would have been happy with a draw, but we won 1-0. And let's find out what happened. This is from the match report from news@den.co.uk. A depleted Millwall came away from Coventry with 3 points thanks to Tom Bradshaw's 80th minute winner. The Lions were under the cosh for much of the first half, but were a stronger side in the second 45 minutes and got their deserved reward when Bradshaw scored in the fourth game in a row. In injury time, Bradshaw's replacement, 15-year-old Zach Lovelace, became the second youngest player in Millwall's history. Tyler Walker had the first chance of the game, however, poor control in the penalty area saw the opportunity snuffed out. The lines were cut open in the 21st minute when Callum O'Hare managed to ride the challenge of Alex Pearce before forcing Bartosz Białkowski into a good save. Walker then had his follow-up effort blocked by Murray Wallace. O'Hare was the one causing most of the problems for the visitors. He played another brilliantly weighted ball into Walker, who headed over the bar. Millwall did end the first half strongly though, Sean Hutchinson heading a Shea Ojo free kick wide before Murray Wallace saw his effort held by standing Coventry keeper Ben Wilson. Millwall started the second half well, George Saville and Jay Cooper both sending efforts over the crossbar. The Londoners continued to create chances, Mason Bennett heading wide from another Ojo free kick as Millwall continued to pose a threat as they kept the home crowd quiet. Bennett was introduced and he was involved straight away. His cross found Bradshaw but he couldn't hit the target. It will be those two that will combine for the Lions to take the lead with 10 minutes left. Pearce's free kick was headed onto Afobe by Cooper and the former found his strike partner who bundled the ball over the line to give the visitors a lead which they wouldn't surrender. Lovelace then became the second youngest player after Moses Ashikodi to feature for the Lions when he came on in the 93rd minute. Takeaways. Pearce inspirational as Lions come away with a stunning victory. Alex Pearce has only played 4 minutes of championship football this season, but he was thrown into the deep end tonight and he really showed his class. He galvanised his troops and led by example. His teammates were under pressure in the opening 45 minutes and he kept them calm and made sure that everyone was clear on the jobs they had to do. His passion for the club has always been evident to see, and he showed it again at full time as he fist pumped the away crowd who reacted in turn. He may lack certain things in ability in the twilight years of his career, but he certainly makes up for that in many other ways. Lions' lack of training evident. COVID outbreak at Millwall meant Gera outside had not played since the 2-1 defeat at Peterborough way back on December 11. The majority of the squad had also not trained together due to the isolation rules. That was evident in this game, especially in the first half. Mark Robinson's side were quicker in the opening half and moved the ball around the pitch well compared to the visitors who were very slow out of the blocks. Both sides have had enforced breaks, but Coventry did return to training on Monday. Millwall went into this game without any training or match preparation together. The home side used the likes of O'Hare to really test Millwall's rustiness in terms of match fitness. But as they have done so often, the Lions dug in against the odds to dig out a result. Youngsters drafted into Matchday 18. Millwall originally asked the EFL for this game to be called off, but due to the club stating they had 14 fit players, including 2 goalkeepers, they had to play. Lovelace, 15 years and 340 days old, was included in the squad after reportedly getting permission from his parents and school to travel. And in injury time, it was a moment for the youngster's family, schoolmates and friends will never forget. Rara also named academy players Nana Boateng and Bart Topoloj on the bench, and the Millwall team was as follows: Białkowski, McNamara, Hutchinson, Pearce, Cooper, Murray Wallace, Saville, Mitchell, Ojo, Bradshaw and Bennett, and the substitutes used were Malone coming on for Ojo in the 77th minute, Afobe coming on for Bennett on the 66th minute, and Lovelace coming on in injury time for Bradshaw. And the unused substitutes were Long, Smith, Boateng and Topolodge. So that's not a bad team. That's not as bad as we all thought it was. Notable players missing from that. You would think Ben Thompson, Bodvarsson. Yeah, they seem to be the only ones missing, not making it onto the bench. Yeah, it's not that bad. It's not that bad a lineup. It seems that Phobie may have been one of the ones who was hit by COVID, because he was on the bench, and you imagine he would be starting. I don't think that was a tactical thing. I think that was because he probably did have it with symptoms. Maybe, I don't know. Not for me to speculate about his health or what's going on there, but you'd think with him being on the bench that was a reason. But yeah, fantastic result. Absolutely fantastic. And I did say in yesterday's video, if we keep a clean sheet, we're probably going to win this game. Tends to be what's happened over the years. Okay. So, as you can see on the right hand side, that makes us 11th in the table on 33 points. We have now caught up to Coventry, the team that we beat today, who are on 34 points. We have a game in hand on the team above them, Nottingham Forest, so it's looking good now. When you win a game, it starts looking good. And when you lose a game, not so much, but it's looking good now. It is looking good. So, what did the manager have to say? So, Mill boss proud of his players as they overcome COVID-19 issues to win at Coventry C. This is from londonnewsonline.co.uk. Gary Rowett was proud of his Mill players after they beat Coventry 1-0 on Wednesday evening. Despite positive COVID-19 cases and injuries depleting his squad and disrupting their build-up, Tom Bradshaw's strike with 10 minutes remaining was enough to seal all 3 points against the Sky Blues. The Lions had not played since December 11 when they lost 2-1 against Peterborough United. Their fixtures against Preston North End and Swansea City were both postponed. The EFL turned down an application from the South London club earlier this week to also postpone the Coventry match. Rowett handed a debut to 15-year-old striker Zach Lovelace in stoppage time, and also had youngsters Nana Boateng and Bisart Topolodge on the bench. Rowett said, "I couldn't be more proud of the group of players we've got in there. We've had a horrendous 2 to 3 weeks. We thought the game had to be off because of the EFL protocols. We had 13 fit players and essentially 2 players that came back today without training and had to go straight into the squad," which is probably Phobie was one of them. "It's a difficult one. We understand it. We want games to go ahead. All of our players wanted it to go ahead. They wanted to play the game, but you have to think about the players and whether that's safe to do that with a limited number of players. I have to say it was a brilliant performance, really dogged, really hard-working, great energy and little moments of quality as well. We just needed to put the final touch on it. Then Bradders goes and scores a goal to put a gloss on a resilient performance, a defensively excellent performance. That's his 5th goal in about 6 or 7 games. He's in a real hot streak of form right now. It's difficult. You don't know how players are going to react. We've seen players up and down the country that aren't able to play after 10 days because it affects them in different ways." Indeed. I just want to say about that goal as well. That was another set piece goal that seemed to be. It wasn't as smooth as the one the other day, a couple of weeks ago against Birmingham, I think. But it was a set piece routine that worked out. It really did, and we got a bit of luck with the deflections as it would come through to Bradshaw, but it was fantastic, really good. So moving on now, he was doing his homework on the way up. Mill boss on 15-year-old's debut in Coventry win. This is from newsandden.co.uk. Garrett Rowett said he couldn't be more proud of his Mill players after their 1-0 win against Coventry on Wednesday night. Alex Pearce started his first league game of the season and was outstanding as centre of defence. Mill kept their first clean sheet in 7 games. I think it's a massive performance, massive 3 points throughout, told Mills Media. I can't speak highly enough and be more proud of the group of players that we've got in there. We've had a horrendous 2 or 3 weeks. We thought that the game. Oh yeah, we've read that. We've read that. We've read that. The preparation was difficult today, but was all about what we're about as a club. The fans were fabulous, got behind the team massively, and the numbers indeed, yes. They said today there was 805 tickets sold. Of course, it was pounded. That was before the start of the game, so then it was also pay on the day. So probably 1,000 Millwall fans there, but it sounded a lot louder than that. They saw a team out there trying their best to get a performance. It wasn't perfect. I have to say, Piercy coming in, led by example, it was a real captain's performance. He was that little bit of glue that kept the team together in the moments when we had to defend. Then, of course, the icing on the cake to bring Zach on. I could have made it easier. I could have brought on a senior player, but I just felt he deserved it. We've got some young players, and I think that's something we want to do a little bit more. We've got Billy Mitchell and Danny McNamara already on the pitch. We've seen the likes of Tyler Burry and Hayden Muller featuring games. Now we've seen Zach, the second youngest ever play for Millwall. Blimey, I don't know who the youngest was. He must have been about 14. We had to get him out of school. He was doing his homework on the way up. It topped off a fabulous 3 points. I don't know where he goes to school, because everyone else is on school holidays, don't I? Is he in a boarding school or something? Is he in a boarding school? I know Frank Lampard went to boarding school, didn't he? A little posh lad. I don't know. Maybe he is, but there you go. We also have this from Gary Rout. So this is from news@den.co.uk. Gary Rout said Mill have to keep producing their own talents as they aren't able to splash out big money on players. Nana Boateng and Bisart Topoloj were unused substitutes as the COVID depleted lines earned victory through Tom Bradshaw's 79th minute goal. Academy products Danny McNamara and Billy Mitchell started the game as they continued to cement their places as first team regulars. As a club, we can't buy top players, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, because we have players that have played at a very high level, but the only way we can get someone of that sort of value is to produce them ourselves, to try and find a little bit of a pathway and accept that maybe sometimes we might lose a game by trying to do it. Right, I said sometimes we might be a little bit weaker trying to do it, but in the long term hopefully we'll be stronger. You've seen it with Billy Mitchell playing lots and lots of games now, Danny McNamara playing a lot of games. Those players are only going to get better, but they're going to get little bumps in their careers, little bumps in the road along the way this season. What you've got to do is try and support them. The fans responded as soon as Lovelace came in. He chased someone 50 yards. He's absolutely lightning, by the way, but he didn't have to do that. I said before he came on, if you run back and make a tackle, that might be just as important as running the other way and getting us up the pitch. It was nice to see. It's a shame as well, because I think Nana Bez, they trained really well this week, and they've just given us a little bit of extra spark, if I'm being honest. I've been really pleased. So there you go, and I've got to say I massively underestimated Gary Rout there. I didn't think he would do that. He's loaned out all the best players in the under-23s. They're all gone out. Isaac Olofi, Alex Mitchell, Hayden Muller, they've all gone out on loan. And it seems like he didn't want to play them, but I speculated in yesterday's video that he would go in with only senior players, that he wouldn't do this. But it seems this was already in the plans, because before I made this video, because he travelled up there with them. So he was on the coach up and they stayed in an hotel overnight. So as I made that video yesterday saying, he should put the kids on, but I don't think he will, they were already up there with him. Yeah. And it's good to see. It is good to see. And it's paid off. And I think they made a point about Alex Pearce. They gave him a new contract. He hasn't really been playing that well. Well, he hasn't been playing, but they gave him the contract where he's a character in the dressing room. He has a presence in the dressing room, and we need that. I think sometimes it's the same the other way. If you've got a young player in the pitch, young player in the dressing room, you need that as well. You need someone who's like a junior member of the squad who can be there and everyone say, just pat them on the head and like a little mascot. But yeah, I was completely and utterly surprised that this was happening. That especially he brought the under 18 striker up there as well. Maybe, I don't know, Sean O'Brien was injured or something. I don't know. Maybe he's got COVID. He was one of the ones with COVID. So you don't know. Maybe these were the fittest ones from the under 23s. I don't know. But yeah, really pleased to see them there. Really pleased to see them. Nana Boateng, Bisat Topolodge, and Zach Lovelace. And news broke this morning on Twitter. I think a Coventry journalist said about Zach Lovelace, a 15-year-old, was with Millwall in their. He travelled up with Millwall, and that kind of broke into a big story on the internet. And a lot of people were saying, like, well, yeah, that's what that's what these clubs should be doing. You should be putting the kids on the bench instead of asking for the games to be postponed. And like, they kind of missing the point because Mill did try to get the game postponed, but they're saying, well, yeah, that's what you should be doing. Just put the kids on the bench, play the game, just carry on. There's no reason you shouldn't do that, and we've seen it now. He didn't really have that much of a part to play, but it works. We got the win. We won the game quite outstandingly. Amazingly, we won the game. So there you go. And so here we go. More about Zach Lovelace's debut. We've read most of this. Yeah, we've already read all of this in the previous stories. They do kind of seem to repeat themselves. So let's have a look at this now. The Daily Moan. Because, you know, when teams lose to Millwall, it's not because Millwall are better than them. There's always got to be an excuse. So what's the excuse? Oh, it's penalties now. They should have had 2 penalties. Well, look, apparently one of them was a blatant dive, so... But I haven't seen it on the highlights, so I don't know. But that's what they said on the Mill commentary. So this is from LondonNewsOnline.co.uk. Coventry City boss makes double penalty claim after Millwall reverse. Mark Robbins felt Coventry City should have had 2 penalties in their 1-0 home defeat against Millwall. Tom Bradshaw scored in the second half to give the Lions all 3 points in their first fixture since December 11. Sky Blues boss Robbins said there looked like there were 2 penalties in the game, one on Callum O'Hare and the other one on Victor later on in the game, but we didn't get it, so we won't moan about it. Well, what are you doing there? From our perspective, it was important we played because of the games we haven't played. On the back of a defeat like that, where you've conceded a free kick, it is disappointing. We had no quality in the game. Having said that, it's been bitty for the last couple of weeks. We've had so much more of the ball, we didn't cause them enough problems, and had that lack of quality, and everyone was off it. We've trained with 11 players. When Millwall were talking about having problems, everyone's having problems. It's very difficult to manage the situation. And we looked exactly what we were, like we hadn't trained. We were getting frustrated with heavy touches and decision making. We've got to be better. But it's understandable with the lack of preparation. So they should have had 2 penalties, and now they're moaning about they want training. It is what it is. They always moan up when we beat them, don't they? They always do. Anyway, so that's it from the Coventry game. One more piece of news to bring you today. This is from a website called Training Ground Guru, or Training Ground.guru, and this appears to be a kind of industry site for coaches in Britain, just publishing news about who's got what job and what jobs are going and whatnot. So here you go. Brown returns to West Ham as head of coaching. Well, not really. Let's have a look and see. So Brown was head of coaching at Millwall for almost 6 years. Former West Ham midfielder Kenny Brown has returned to the club as head of coaching for the under-9s to under-14s. So just for those age groups, head of coaching. Brown leaves Millwall, where he was head of coaching for almost 6 years, and officially starts with Hammers on January 4th. Category 1 West Ham, who placed 8th in TGG's, that's the Training Ground Gurus Academy Productivity Rankings for 2020-21, have split the traditional head of coaching role into two. While Brown will have responsibility for the 9s to the 14s, Callum Muniaruk will oversee the 15s to 18s. Muniaruk joined in October 2018 as head of Academy Coach Development, having previously been a coach educator at the Football Association for 5.5 years. Brown was born in Barking and played for West Ham from 1991 to 1996. He is a highly experienced coach, having been academy manager at Dagenham and Redbridge, first team coach at Barnet, and manager of clubs including Barry Town. He will be replaced, here you go, this is the Millwall bit, as head of coaching at Millwall by Damian Matthew. Now, who's that? Exactly. After a professional playing career that took in spells with Chelsea, Crystal Palace and Burnley, Matthew turned to coaching. The 51-year-old has even first team coach at Charlton, assistant manager at Southend United, and most recently under 18s coach at RG Punjab FC in India. So there you go, a globe setter, and he joins Millwall as a head of coaching of presumably the youth teams, and there you go. So Damian Matthew, former Abu. Let's have a look at these productivity ratings, see if Millwall are on there. Don't know. I didn't plan on doing this, so let's have a look. Can we see it? You have to pay for it? Oh, hang on. Are we there? Where are we? We are number 44. What does that mean though? I don't know. What are the columns? Category, like the tier. Premier League, Championship, League 1, League 2, National League, total weighting. I probably shouldn't have skipped past all this stuff. Okay, so here, a list was compiled of English players who played in at least one match for any team in the top 5 English leagues. So, if we produced a player and he went through and played for another club in the league, National League as well, or even if we had players out on loan, that gives us a score. That's why it's got Premier League, Championship, League 1, League 2, National League. And we will see where. So 44, we had 0.33 of a game. So one player who came through the Millwall Academy played 0.33. I think that was the lad at Man City. Is it Edozie? That might have been him. He got probably a third of a game. No, he's playing the Cubs. And then we've had 4 games for Championship. That doesn't make sense because we've got players in our own team that came through. Maybe this, I don't know. But we're 44th, whatever that means. So it's in terms of production of players, not just for your own team, but for basically just producing players who go on to play professionally, or even not professionally, but in the National League here. It's kind of weird because I keep seeing former Millwall youngsters in certain non-league teams that you won't expect when I'm looking at the when I'm checking them out and seeing the squads and what's going on. I see, oh, that name's familiar. Was he at Millwall? And then I'll look into it. Yeah, he was. So there you go. But that's by the by. What I actually wanted to tell you was that Kenny Brown has left coaching at Millwall and Damian Matthew has taken over. So we'll see how that turns out. Good luck to him. Good luck to Kenny Brown. I don't know how he stuck the job for 6 years. Seems like he's West Ham through and through. Could you imagine? I couldn't do it. Could you go and work at West Ham United if you're a Millwall fan? And just for 6 years, if you're Millwall through and through, you had to go and work, be surrounded by West Ham fans. It would be a nightmare, wouldn't it? I don't know how you do it for 6 years, but he did it. But he's off to West Ham now, and we have Damian Matthew, so hopefully that works out. And there you go. So that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.